I see people joining in. We're going to wait for a few minutes to let all the participants to join. Okay, I think we can start. So thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Davide Iaccarino. I'm Cybersecurity and Privacy Project Manager at the European Digital SME Alliance. And today, I want to thank you for joining us. We are going to introduce you to the Octet project, of which the Eclipse Foundation is the leading partner. Today we have with us Michael Barbero from the Eclipse Foundation as the head of security. And I'm going to leave the floor to him so he can introduce you to the project and what we're doing about CRA compliance and our open source toolkit. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for this workshop. So I'll be brief, just give you a quick overview of what is the Octet project and what are our goals and objectives with this project funded by the European Commission. So my name is Michael Barbero. I'm the head of security at the Eclipse Foundation. I lead the team that helps our project to improve their security posture, especially the security posture of their supply chain. We've created this team about 3 years ago, and we are, of course, putting a huge focus on getting our project ready for the forthcoming regulation, including the CRA. So we have good insights and good already hands-on how to help open source project to reach regulatory compliance. So just a quick facts about the Octet project. Again, it's funded by the European Commission, or more exactly the European Cybersecurity Competence Center, ECCC. The project is aimed to will be over the next over 24 months. It started in last November and will end November 2026. Total budget to be for the whole consortium is 2.4 million euros. And our focus is heavily on CRA compliance automation, as you will see. So for those of you who don't know exactly what is the CRA, I'll be extra brief. We have plenty of materials already in other working groups at the foundation, for instance, about the CRA. So if you want to dive more into what it is and what are the implications, feel free to reach out and we can expand on that. But in a few words, it's a new requirement for all products with digital elements in Europe. So basically, those requirements will, when you comply with those requirements, you will be able to add the CE marking to your products. And those requirements actually apply from the design phase of your products to the deployment or the distribution on the market, on the single market. This so the regulation mentioned products with digital elements, but it can also be pure software. So it's not only about IoT products, cameras, and other connected toys, but really it can be also for pure software. And it gives some responsibility to both manufacturers of products in the European single market, but also to importers and distributors of products on the market. The partners in the Octet projects that will participate to 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 the consortium are spread across the whole Europe. So we have Expertware in Romania, we have BitC and also based in Germany, Double Open in Finland, and Red Alert Labs in France, and finally Digital SME Alliance, or OS today with David, and About Code in Belgium. The key dates for the CRA to be applicable is actually spread across the next 3 years. So the CRA has entered into force on December 11 last year and will come in full effect 3 years from December 11, so in 2027, end of 2027. During this transition period, there are a couple of milestones for application of the CRA. Most notably, there is the reporting obligation that come into effect on September 11, 2026, meaning that products on the single market won't have to comply with all the requirements, but they will have to be able to notify for any discovered vulnerability or incidents to a single reporting platform at ENISA or at their national CSIRT. So of course we are still in the beginning, but those 3 years will fly very, very fast until all the obligations come into force. So what are the requirements in the CRA? The first thing that you need to know about the CRA is that it's a risk-based approach. So there are several requirements listed in Annex 1 and Annex 2, but all of those can be applied depending on the risk assessment that you do on your product. So there is no strong requirement if something does not make sense or does not contribute to mitigating a risk in your product. So that's the very first thing that we need to always remember with those requirements. Then the most basic requirement from the CRA is that all the products with digital element must be basically secured by design and secured by default. So during the full development life cycle of your product, you need to think about cybersecurity and reach the appropriate level of cybersecurity. And appropriate there means that depending on the intended use or foreseeable usage of your product, you need to mitigate the risk that you are identified during the risk assessment. The second big requirement in the CRA is that you need to support or to be able to fix vulnerability and to manage vulnerabilities through the product lifecycle. So you need to put your product on the market without any known exploitable vulnerabilities. Doesn't mean that you cannot put your product with vulnerabilities inside, but you need to be sure that they are not exploitable, so you have proper mitigation on those. Of course, for proper vulnerability management, you most certainly will have to generate an SBOM and manage an SBOM for your product. And finally, you will have to do due diligence for any components that you actually include into your product, and most certainly open source software, and it includes open source software. So open source software are not excluded from the scope of the CRA. And finally, the last part of the requirements from the CRA is that you will have to publish documentation and instructions to the users about the expected usage and the cybersecurity measure that you've put in place. So why is it important that you actually have to do due diligence on open source software, and why where Octet comes into play in there? The thing is, open source is everywhere. Open source has won. There are various statistics, but all products on the market are comprised of open source from 70 to 99%, depending on the study and so on. But it's basically everywhere, and it's a large part of your application. So you have to do due diligence on this large number of components. And it can be hard, especially for SME, or the cost of doing such a due diligence can be very high. So the goal of Octet is to actually empower SMEs to help them do their due diligence on the open source components that they include. The goal of Octet is to improve the visibility of impact of open source, of its tooling by doing also open source. So all the tools that will be developed inside Octet will be open source, and all the data that will be created will be released under a federated approach. So the priorities in Octet is to support the open source ecosystem to help them address the challenges that the CRA brings, to address the requirements, but also to provide, again, some evolution to existing tooling for managing the cybersecurity of open source software, and to help SMEs to be able to self-assess open source components that they depend on, and to not do that, of course, all manually, but to transition from manual to automated approach. We want all SMEs to be able to use those tooling. So of course, it will be open source and free of charge for any usage. And we will integrate with other tooling and other ecosystems for cybersecurity of open source. So the milestones, we have 4 key components in the Octet tool suite. The first one is to around automated generation of SBOM and management. So to improve the current tooling to take into account the specificities of the CRA requirements. Some tooling around vulnerability triage for open source software, again, based on the SBOM generation tooling that has been improving on the first step. Third tool, or third main component is some specific tooling for SMEs to deal with those open source components, so the large scale usage inside your companies, inside your SMEs. And finally, this federated platform where the data of already assessed open source components will be published and will be able to, you will be able to reuse that inside your the platform tailored for SMEs. So the outcomes, the expected outcomes for Octet is to, of course, improve the open source security within the EU, and to equip all those SMEs in the EU to thrive in the cybersecurity conscious marketplace. So again, this project has been is funded by the European Union, the ECCC, with this agreement number. And I think that with that, I'm done. And if you have any question, of course, we are open for that. And we can also, and we will next move forward with David and I don't remember the name of the tool that we want to use after that
Thank you so much.
for the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mikhail, for the introduction to the project. And now that we know what Octet is about, I would ask you to go a little bit into our interactive session. So it's going to be a Miro board. I'm going to share with you the link shortly here in the chat. You can start to access the Miro board. I will also share as we have some indications for you. Let me know if you can access the Miro board. Yes, I see that you are joining. So now that we know what the project is about, as we go forward in creating our toolkit, we need to hear your voice and we need to hear your opinion on what would make the toolkit most effective. So I've prepared this Miro board where you have a top-down selection of sections where you can add your own answer and input. So these are some indications on how to use the Miro board if you have never used it. So basically you can hold down the right click on your mouse, on your trackpad, and you can move around the board as I'm doing now. You can zoom in and out with your mouse scroll wheel. So basically you can go in and out. If you're using a trackpad, as I am doing now, you can just like pinch in and pinch out. And you can also focus on a section if you select it and then press F. So you can start by going from the first section. So it's top down, it's a waterfall scheme. You can use this stack of sticky notes that you can bring wherever you want, and you can just like type into it and write your input. Don't forget that on your left, you also have some polling that it's also useful to answer to. So please make sure that you have completed the section before going forward, or if you want to go forward because maybe you find easier to reply to a question than another one, please feel free to do so. And also on your right, for the first section, you also have the classification of products with digital elements as stated in the annex of the CRA. So I see that there are some, I can click the link. I will try to share it again. Let me know, Rasmus, if you can click it now. But anyways, okay, perfect. So I will leave you some minutes to do so. Please don't feel pressure. Take your time. And I'm here. I'm available for whatever question. Just put it in the chat, and I will be available to help you. Thank you so much. Yes. So I see we have another question. Yeah, so basically I've put the classification of the products with digital elements on the right so that you, if you are not very familiar with the CRA, you can get a hold of which products are considered in the annex of the CRA. So the CRA divides elements with digital products in three classes. And basically you can look up to the classification on the right if you don't feel sure about um, which digital product you should put in the middle board. Otherwise, if you already know about it, or if you want to say something different, feel free to do however you please. Every input is very welcome. You cannot see the questions, Aman, as in you cannot see the text, or is the board not working for you? Oh, yes. Yes, I would suggest you to zoom in or zoom out, depending on your um, depending on your screen settings. Um, the sections are quite big, so I would suggest you to zoom in. There's no issues with resolutions in the middle board, so you can zoom in or zoom out as much as you want. Yes, the questions for the Q&A will be answered at the end of this session so that we can dedicate like a few last minutes of the workshop to replying. And I will share them with you. I see that we already have interesting questions, interesting inputs. Yes, thank you, Matteo, for the clarification. If you feel like giving suggestion, Matteo, just feel free to do it and open up your mic if you want. We also have Matteo Mollet from the European Cybersecurity Organization here. He also works on projects related to CRA, especially with one project called CyberStan, with which we collaborate and share common goals. Let's see that people are already going to the last section. Perfect. Remember that we also have polling options on the left that you can also answer to. If you think about any questions while filling up the sections of the Miro board, please just put it in the chat and then we will reply to you as soon as we're done with this session. Thank you. People gathering input. I would say to dedicate maybe 5 more minutes um, on this, as I see the activity is going down. So I think most people have filled out most sections, so I would give 5 minutes more so that everyone can do it. And then we can go forward on questions. Okay. Okay, I think we're done. I just see that people are not have filled out everything. So thank you so much for your input. Now we can dedicate some time and we are early on schedule, so that's good. So if you have questions, please, we can dedicate now some time to replying to questions regarding the project, or if you had any thoughts coming up while filling up the Moodle board, please feel free to um, just put them in the Q&A section or directly in the chat. I see that we already have one question in the QA box. about when will the tool set be available. So I think that's something, Mikhail, maybe you can give an insight on.
Yeah, sure. So we have a number of milestone to reach over the next 2 years. I don't have the exact months in mind right now, but I think that the first version comes sometime late this year, Q3 are expected, but there will be, of course, continuous progress, and as everything will be done in open source, you can actually check. I don't think if we have the link there, or if anyone can post the link to the location where the development will happen, but you can continuously look on the Git repositories where it will be published, yeah, and on the Octave websites, and there will be continuous updates on when parts, new components of the toolkit will be released.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Mikhail. I'm gonna share with you um, the link for the website of our project of Octet, where you will find updates, events, and also results of what we do. So we're also going to share with you the results of this workshop that you will find available on the website soon. And again, if you have any more questions, feel free to write it in the chat as well. Yes, so we have another question. What will be the output of this Miro workshop capture? So that's something I can answer to. So the goal, as we said, of this Miro workshop is to, of course, capture what's the let's say to take a picture of what's going on with SMEs and the CRA. So how much are SMEs aware of the requirements that are needed and how the toolkit, the Octet toolkit can help in this, how it can help in reaching compliance. So out of this workshop, we will get a picture on how SMEs are distributed, so which sectors they're working with, which kind of products they're producing, how long they've been in business, and all of this data will give us the opportunity to kind of create a picture of the situation we are in right now. And of course, the output will be shared. You will find it on our website anytime soon. We will create a report about what we found and what you will expect from our side in order to help you to reach compliance with the CRA. Of course, we think about Octet as a project that is focused on CRA compliance right now, but we hope in the future to also adapt the toolkit to different cyber regulations. So this will give us the tools to create like backbone of the toolkit so that we can apply it in different instances in the future as well. So I hope I've answered your question. Yeah. Okay. So, so I think that we are towards the end of the workshop. I see the Miro board has been filled out. I see that people are checking their own input, but no one is putting in new information. So I think we're done with that. If you have more answers, please just ask in the chat. Otherwise, I think we can go towards the end if our speakers have something to add or to say, they're welcome to do so. Yes. And also in the chat, I was about to do it. You can see that we also have a survey going on for SMEs where you will find more detailed questions. And where you will find more detailed questions. You can find the link in the chat, and you can also find it on our website. So if you feel like you want to give more input or if you have more to say, we have this survey as well, and we invite you to fill it out. As the more input we gather, the better the toolkit will look like. We also have another question. I don't know if our speakers have something to say about it. If there are any thoughts on security attestations regarding Article 25 of the CRA.
I can give it a try. So the security attestations are something in addition to the regulation that will come in the form of guidance, if I remember correctly, from the European Commission. The goal will be for open source steward to be able to issue, but actually not only open source steward, but anybody to attest for open source components about their CRA conformity. And that will be, so we don't have the details yet. The European Commission still has to publish the guidance around this security attestation program and what shape and form it will take.
Perfect. Thank you, Mikhail. So I think we have some more few minutes left, but if you if you don't have anything to add, Mikael or Matteo, and if there are no questions, we can go towards the end of the workshop and thank everyone for coming. So I don't know if you want to add something, Mikael or Matteo.
No, thank you everyone for the filling out the survey and the Miro dashboard. That would be very helpful. Looking forward to hearing from you and showing you the first milestones of the project.
Thank you, Mikael.
Thank you.
So thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for joining. You will find the output of this workshop soon on our website. We invite you to visit our website. You have the link in the chat, and also to fill out the dedicated survey if you feel like you have something more to say, if you want to give more input. More input we have from SMEs and from you, the better it will be. And once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.